Did you have much contact with the Viet Cong?
None at all, other than some dead bodies, yeah.
Wow. Because it's strange for people to hear that, you went to Vietnam during the war and you didn't have any contact. Obviously, you're doing a completely different operation, but you would think as someone, thinking of the Afghanistan war or the war in Iraq, that people are, on the front line sort of thing. They have this idea. Maybe it stems from the Second World War, or the First World War, trench warfare.
I carried either a pistol or an F1, which is like a small submachine gun. I didn't carry a rifle or a big machine gun or anything like that. My job was, to be perfectly frank with you, my job was to run away if the enemy came close.
Yeah.
I was involved in one or two operations, but not on the front line of them.
What was your impression of war? Many people have said, I think there was an 1850 quote, "War is hell." What was your impression?
Look, the actual battle is hell, but you're talking about, in the vast majority of cases in Vietnam, you're talking about half an hour in a year.
Wow.
The vast majority of cases.
Yeah.
It's probably the big battles like the Battle of Long Tan and the Battle of Bin Ba. Some of those battles, they lasted a day. But the vast majority of those troops would be involved in ambushes, in very short contacts, literally minutes only, and they'd be over. And the big battles were much, Battle of Coral, another one, which lasted a couple of days, and they're serious head-to-head battles with relatively equal numbers, and it's who dares wins then, who's disciplined and who's well-armed wins. But the vast majority of a low-level warfare, it's they deliberately don't want to have a battle with you. Yeah. They want to shoot at you when you're not looking.
Is that worse for a soldier or better? Having a year of no combat and half an hour once in that year, but constantly being on edge, or, if your front is moving towards where a positioned enemy.
Look, I shouldn't speak on behalf of infantry,
of course,
because they're dealing with this in an entirely different way to me. But my understanding is that it's the tiredness, it's the tension of patrolling, all of those things that make low-level warfare hell, not the actual contact, because the contact takes very few minutes. Now, it's hell in the sense that you might lose mates in that, but only a relatively short period compared to the total amount of time you're involved.
I've often wondered about that, watching a series like, I think when I was younger, it was Band of Brothers that I first watched, and when they're involved in the Battle of the Bulge and in a particular forest, it escapes my mind at the moment, but how a human being can go through that time period and somehow maintain a level of mental clarity.
I have to tell you, I can't talk about that because I've never had that experience. If I'm any kind of judge, it's more about training and instinct and discipline around certain actions that you take at certain times in those circumstances that gets you through it. So, for instance, in Vietnam, somebody yells contact front because they've seen enemy in front or gets shot at from in front. There is a drill that happens automatically. No one thinks about it. It's a drill that you go through.
So you fall into this autonomous sort of role.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you know exactly what you're doing.
Exactly.
And that kicks into gear.
Yeah.
Okay, well that would make sense.
And then you have to be flexible after the initial part of it. Keep the commander informed, your platoon commander informed, or your section commander informed, and then he makes the decisions about variations to the drill. But it's something that you start learning about at Kapuka way back, and you just keep constantly getting it reinforced.